Okay, so good evening, everyone. I am Agnisha De, and I am one of the organizers of JWoC. Currently, I am pursuing BTech from Jalpaiguri Government Engineering College in Computer Science and Engineering Department, and I am in my third year. So, I would like to welcome everyone to another exciting session brought to you by JWoC. I am thrilled to have you all join us today for an amazing session on CI/CD and DevOps. Let's speak something about CI/CD and DevOps. CI/CD, which stands for Continuous Integration and Continuous Deployment, is the practice of automating the integration of code changes from multiple developers into a single code base. And DevOps is more of a culture that emphasizes collaboration, communication, and integration between development and operation teams. Now let's extend a warm welcome to our distinguished speaker. Today we have the privilege of hearing from Monika Rajput, an expert in this field, who will be sharing her insights and experiences with us. She is currently a senior data engineer at AHEAD and had working experience in various domains like AutoML, computer vision, NLP, data warehousing, and have experience working in US-based startups. Monica, thank you for being here with us today. Now the mic is over to you, Monica.
Uh, Thank you so much. One second. My voice is. Okay, I think now we are good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great, great. Okay, thank you so much, Agnisha, for this warm welcome. And first of all, I would like to say you guys are doing a great thing to building a community, and a lot of people has joined, and I really loved uh, that. And one more thing, okay, so before starting the session or before starting my introduction, let's get to know each other, right? So I just wanted to know how many of you are from college or how many of you are professional. So what you can do, if you want, for now you can just write, like you can just write it down on the chat box, like whichever year you are studying right now, or if you are professional, so whatever you are. So I just want to grab some of thing about you so we can better engage this session. So I'm checking these chats. So one second. Yeah. Okay, so we have students from first year till now. Anyone from second year, fourth year? Okay, most of you first year. That's great. Okay, that's nice. Third year, it's progress. Okay, okay. Third year. So any one of you are professional? If yes, then just raise your hand or just, write it down, whatever suits to you. Okay, okay, great. So, Agnisha, can you tell me one thing? Like the students we have here, is there they are studying in some specific college, or we have students from other colleges? So how this is?
Yeah, no, we don't have students from any specific college. We are having students from everyone in India,
Okay, okay, that's great.
not
That's
only a
nice.
specific college.
That's nice. So mostly what I can see here, we have third year students and the first year. Most of our you are first year students, right? So we are going to take this session very basic, or like we are going to see the 1000-foot view. So hope you all know 1000-foot view. So basically 1000-foot view is we are going to, just see, okay, what we can do with the CI/CD and how CI/CD can help us to build some product and all. Okay. Okay, let's start with my introduction. So I'm Monika Rajput, and I'm not that old. So basically, I graduated in 2021, but I started, working in startup in 2019, if I remember. Yeah. So I have done 5 internships, and yeah, most of the internships and my jobs are basically based on the USA and Singapore. So yeah, that is my journey. And currently I'm a senior data engineer. So basically, if I give you the overview, I worked on a data science project during my college and all. But yeah, after the graduation, I'm working as a data engineer. So yeah, let's start the session. Are you guys ready? Just raise your hands. Maybe if we have emoji. So okay, let's raise. Great. And one more thing before starting the session, if you have any question, just raise your hand and we can, talk about this. And one more thing I would like to add here, this is not going to be a tech talk जैसा कि हम लोग colleges में करते हैं, professors आते हैं और tech talk देके चले जाते हैं. So that is not going to be like that. So I'm here to share with you my experience, my journey, and how I build the CI/CD pipeline. And one more thing I would like to add, this is not a rocket science, it's a very simple thing. So yeah, these are the three things. Okay, let's start the session. Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. Hope
And
you all
everyone, you can utilize your chat section for if you have any questions during the session.
right. Okay, let's start from the beginning. And you guys can also, speak up if you have any questions or something like that. And Agnisha, please tell me if someone has
Yes.
any questions and all. One more thing we can
Okay.
do here is second. So one more thing I would like to ask Agnisha, how much time we have for this session?
Yeah, actually, we have allotted time till 10 p.m.
Okay, I
8
don't
to
think
10
so
p.m.
this session will take that
Yeah.
much time, but okay,
Yeah,
great.
you can take your time.
Okay, okay, great. Okay, are you guys able to see my screen or not? No? One second. I will try to share my screen again. Okay, great. So let's start the meet first. Present. Okay, here you are. Chalo, let's start. So yeah, I gave you my introduction. I'm working as a data engineer at Ahead and worked with four startups, USA and Singapore, and currently I'm working for a company. It's Ahead, and also I have mentored 60 plus students. I think more than that. And also I'm an organizer of CNCF Gurgaon. So hope you all are aware of CNCF Gurgaon. If not, please check it out. And okay, let's uh, move ahead. Okay, so this is the QR code of my all social media handles. So you can just take a screenshot and just follow me on every social handles. So we are not going to waste our time here. And let's go. Let's move ahead. One second. Is about what is CI/CD, best practices for efficient deployment. So basically, we will understand what is the CI/CD pipeline. So before jumping into the session, I would like to know how many of you are aware of these terms CI/CD, or any one of you are like previously worked on CI/CD or not. Just give your answer in yes or no, or anything like any views on it. Have you ever tried it out, or have you ever listened it, or Just say by yes or no. You can, type it out. I'm just checking the comment section. I haven't got any response. Okay, no, no.
Yeah, now people are giving responses.
Okay, no.
Everyone type in your comment section.
Okay, okay. So I'm supposing that nobody, okay. No issues. We can, learn about the CI/CD pipeline. So let's go back to our presentation. Okay. So before jumping into what is CI/CD, first let's check what is going to be the agenda for this session. So agenda is going to be the first thing we are going to discuss that my story with CI/CD pipeline and Jenkins GitHub actions. So we are not going to move on to GitHub action that much, but yeah, we will explore more of Jenkins. Because why Jenkins? Because most of the companies use Jenkins over GitHub actions. So that's why I'll cover Jenkins. Then we will see, okay, what is CI/CD? Then we will see, okay, how the flow of CI/CD pipeline works. And then we will see key what is Jenkins and CI/CD. Then we will see CI/CD pipeline built by me. So I also have built the CI/CD pipeline. So I'm going to share the code snippet of the CI/CD pipeline. Then the basic thing like what is the problem I faced while I was working on CI/CD pipeline, and some best practices we are going to discuss. And yes, that's it. So the game maybe we will not able to play, but yeah, in person session we will. Okay, so my story with CI/CD pipeline and Jenkins GitHub action. So why this topic is, so when I was working for the Ran Mirinda partner, so it's a US based startup. So I've worked there for like 2.5 years. So one day, we need to build the CI/CD pipeline. So just before going into the story, I just wanted to tell you that the startup I was working for, in that company, we just have the 10 people, and I'm the co-founding engineer there. So you can imagine anything in technology we need to implement in our project. So we need to learn from the scratch and then apply into our project. So yeah, one day my boss said, my boss name is Edward. So he said like you need to build the CI/CD pipeline for our project. And that time I didn't know anything about the CI/CD pipeline, or didn't know what is the best practices I can add into the CI/CD pipeline. So I was totally unaware about the CI/CD concept. And also that time I have lot of questions like if something is working fine, then why we are going to include the CI/CD pipeline. So basically that happened, and it took me like 1 month to create a perfect CI/CD pipeline for my product. So that is so sometimes I just love creating the pipeline. Sometimes my code works, but sometimes it doesn't work. So that is kind of love and hate relationship with CI/CD pipeline. So yeah, that is my story and my struggle with the CI/CD pipeline. Now I'll tell you one thing, like what is the CI/CD pipeline, right? So basically, a CI/CD pipeline is continuous integration or and continuous delivery. Basically, in simple term, I'll say key in startup or in any company, we need to automate the task, right? So how much, so these are the steps in the CI/CD pipeline. So first is the source, and the second one is build, and third one is pre-test, and the fourth one is deploy, and the post-test. Okay, so I'll give you one simple example. आप जब भी कोड लिखते हैं, right? फिर लाइक आपने लोकल पे कोड लिखा है अपना, ओके, तो आप क्या करते हो, उसको गिटहब पर पुश करते हैं, राइट? गिटहब पर पुश करने के बाद आप उसको कहीं पर भी डिप्लॉय करते हैं। लेट्स से एग्जांपल हिरोकू का एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं। होप सो आपने हिरोकू यूज किया होगा। बेसिकली हिरोकू पे आप अपना वेबसाइट या एक HTML पेज आप वहां पर क्या कहते हैं डिप्लॉय कर सकते हैं। तो ये बेसिक 3 स्टेप्स होते हैं कि आपने कोड लिखा एंड यू आर पुशिंग दैट कोड ऑन टू गिटहब, गिटहब से आपका देन वो कोड डिप्लॉय होता है हिरोकू पर या किसी भी क्लाउड प्रोवाइडर पर। दैट इज अ सिंपल थिंग, राइट? अब प्रॉब्लम कहाँ आती है, वाई सी आई सी डी कम्स हेयर। अब बार बार आप ये स्टेप नहीं कर सकते ना कि आपको क्या कहते हैं बार बार यही चीजें कर रहे हो वो भी मैनुअली। सो दैट्स वाई इस पूरे टास्क को ऑटोमेट करने के लिए we have created the CI/CD concept. So basically, CI/CD is just kind of what I can say. आप एक स्विच का बटन ऑन करते हैं, लाइट आपका टर्न ऑन हो जाता है। सो दैट इज द CI/CD पाइपलाइन कंसेप्ट, राइट? सो एक हमारे पास जब हमारा CI/CD पाइपलाइन बिल्ड हो जाता है, देन we just need to trigger one button. So just imagine here we have the button. So that button will do the whole thing. Like it is going to, you know, push your code onto GitHub, on GitHub to the cloud, or maybe build the Docker images. So yeah, it is kind of so by CI/CD we are just, you know, um, automating our task. So that is the simple definition of the CI/CD pipeline. And let's see. So these are the steps. Source. So what is source here? Source could be your GitHub repo. And then build. So here we are building a image, or here we have some tests to check, okay, our code is good or not. Then we deploy our code onto any cloud system, maybe AWS, EC2, or the GCP, and or the Azure. We are deploying our code there. And then we have the post test, okay, our code is working or not. It's a testing thing. Not, so yeah, so continuous integration is, जो continuous integration का journey होता है, that is from source to pre-test, right? And जो continuous delivery का जो process होता है, when you are pretty much confident now कि okay, so then you can apply continuous delivery onto your project. Okay, the one script or one trigger is going to build, pre-test, deploy, and post-test. So that is how these are the steps. Okay, you are doing continuous integration. Okay, you are doing continuous delivery. Okay, you are doing continuous deployment. So हो सकता है आपको अभी ये पूरा concept समझ में ना आए. That's okay. What we need to take it out from this slide is that CI/CD is just a automation concept. We are automating a whole process by CI/CD pipeline. That's it. That's we need to, you know, remember about the CI/CD. Let's jump into the next slide, and let's see. Now we have one question. Uh, okay, in the market we have lot of CI/CD tools. Like we have GitHub Actions, we have Jenkins, we have GitLab, we have Azure. Now the question arises, okay, what tool we should need to use? What tool is best for our use case, right? Now here we have the chart. So in my case, when we were, you know, building our CI/CD pipeline, we were using Jenkins. And And why we were using Jenkins? Because Jenkins has lot of integration, and we can run the CI/CD pipeline in Jenkins independently. Like we have lot of freedom to use the Jenkins, but in case of GitHub Actions, now we have some restrictions. So it depends on your project or your use case or your company policies, okay, which tool you are going to use. But just to clarify, and what I have experienced and what I saw in the market, mostly companies using Jenkins to build the CI/CD pipeline. But if I'm creating my project, then I'll choose the GitHub Actions, because GitHub Actions is very easy to create the CI/CD pipeline. So if I'm creating my personal project, then I'll go for the GitHub Action. If we have, like, if as a company I'm building a product, like a big product, then I go for the Jenkins. So that is in the market. So it's very good to learn about the Jenkins, because GitHub is easy to implement, but in Jenkins it's very complicated, not difficult. It's complicated to build the CI/CD pipeline. So yeah, by this slide you can choose, okay, what tool we need to use. So you can focus on the Jenkins for now. uh, okay, let's see what is the flow of the CI/CD pipeline. So okay, let's before jumping into this slide, I just wanted to know if you have some questions. uh, 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 do you have, guys, some questions or not?
You can raise hand if you have any question.
Any question, maybe any simplest question, I'm very happy to tell you more, because here we are discussing the CI/CD pipeline. So I don't want to just speak and speak about the CI/CD and just show you the presentation. I just really want ki if you have some questions or something like that, you can just tell me. Otherwise we can proceed with the slide. If you have, if you understand all of the thing that I have told you, you can just give me a thumbs up. So we have here na emoji in the GitHub, sorry, Google Meet action. So you can just give me a thumbs up. Okay, so okay, you can play with the emojis or listen to me. Okay, so I think we are good to go. Let's jump into our presentation. So let's start. Okay, so
I think
l-
somebody has a question.
yeah, tell.
Somebody, Nivedita Roy is asking, ma'am, difference in both.
Sorry. Did a
Actually, she
difference.
is not.
Okay, difference in CI and
She is
CD pipe.
asking.
Yeah. Okay, I need to just check it out. What's the question exactly? Okay, ma'am, difference in both. I think so you what's your name? Nandita. Yes, Nandita, if I understand what you wanted to say, you just wanted to know like what is the difference between the CI and CD, right? So I'm imagining that. So let's see what is the difference between these terms. So here we have like, so CI is continuous integration and this is continuous delivery. So basically, what I told you previously, so continuous integration means you are just, integrating your GitHub code to the, sorry, your code, you are just pushing your code to the GitHub, and there you have built the pretest. So that is just the continuous integration from your code to the GitHub. And in GitHub, you also have the pretest. So this is just the continuous integration part, right? And if you want to add the delivery means you are deploying your code onto the cloud, right? So the journey of continuous delivery is from, it like starts from their source to the post test. So basically what we are doing here, क्या होता है यहाँ पर, हमारा जो कोड होता है वो गिटहब के पास जाता है एंड बिल्ड होता है। जैसे कि मे बी अगर आप रिएक्ट यूज करते हैं तो रिएक्ट में बिल्ड का कमांड होता है, तो ये रिएक्ट के केस में। बाकी you can just imagine that we are just pushing our code to GitHub, and on GitHub we also have the test cases. So now what is the test cases? So basically the test cases is to check the code. Okay, like x की value इतनी होनी चाहिए तो our code is good. It's a very simple example of the pretest. And in continuous delivery now we have someone, like before deploying we have someone here to check manually that our code is working fine or not. If that is checked, then we deploy our code onto the cloud, and then we have some post tests that check, okay, now our code is working fine. So that is the continuous delivery, and this is the continuous integration. So that is the like you can just imagine the process. Okay, from source to pretest we are going to do the continuous integration, and if we want to deploy our app onto cloud, then we have to do the delivery. Now let's see what is now continuous deployment. So continuous deployment process is, yeah, someone raise hand or what? Okay, okay, let's first complete this, right? Then we will jump into another question. So, continuous deployment now, when you are very confident now that your code is going to, run on the cloud, then you can apply the continuous deployment process. So that is the kind of process. So by just triggering the button, your that pipeline will create that pipeline will do the whole thing, like that will do the source build pre-test and deploy and the post test. So never never get confused between the continuous delivery and continuous deployment. Continuous delivery is different and continuous deployment is different. It is mostly automatic, that continuous deployment, and in continuous delivery we have someone to check, right? So that is the basic difference between these three. Okay, anybody has some question? Someone has raised the hand. If not, then you can just, okay, we are like if you have question, just add into the chat box, so it will be easy for us to go ahead. Okay, I'm going back to our presentation. So my screen is visible to you guys, है ना? One second.
Yeah,
I'm
it's visible.
oh, okay, great. So we were okay. Okay, so now let's check what is the flow of CI/CD. So in simple terms, what is the flow of CI/CD pipeline? So let's check. So क्या होता है कि developer write a code, right? And so your code is on Visual Studio Code, right? Then you commit that code onto the GitHub, right? And here we have GitHub actions. So if you ever check in GitHub, we have option for the GitHub action. Let me show you guys. Let me show you GitHub. Second. Okay. So मैं अपना एक so see here we have the actions option. So I'm talking about this feature. So you can see here, get started with GitHub Actions. So you can, explore a lot of things. So here you can see deploy to Amazon ECS, right? Build the deploy to GKE. So here we have lot of option. अच्छा आप क्या करना चाहते हो? Deploy Python app to Azure function app. So क्या होगा? आपको बस कुछ कॉन्फ़िगरेशन करने की ज़रूरत है एंड देन जब भी आप एक बटन ट्रिगर करते हैं that trigger will do the deployment part for you. What that trigger will do, that will do deploy Python app to Azure function app, right? And one another example, if we can check, publish Python package, right? And deploy to IBM cloud Kubernetes services. So hope you are, you hope you are able to, picturize everything. So that is uh, that is a feature I am, talking about. So hope you are kind of clear. So here we have the GitHub Actions. In GitHub Actions, we specify the case कि हमें अपने कोड के साथ क्या करना है, कि कोड हमारा AWS पे डिप्लॉय होना चाहिए या फिर क्या कहते हैं GCP पे डिप्लॉय होना चाहिए. So that is we do, right? So what is happening here? Here we have the GitHub action, and then when we trigger this action, it will deploy our code onto the container. So container here, Azure Container Registry, don't get confused. It just the repo in the Azure cloud. So our code is going here, and then after here we are deploying our code onto the AKS. So AKS basically, in simple terms, what I can tell you, it's just the computer in the cloud. So, and computer in the cloud that is available for everyone, right? That is the AKS basically. So here we are deploying our code. So yeah, that is a flow of the CI/CD pipeline. It's very simple. Let's go ahead. And if you have question, just add into the chats. Okay. Okay. Now let's see what is Jenkins. So basically, Jenkins is a automation server. So in simple terms, I already told you na कि CI/CD is just for the automation. So Jenkins is a automation server. So we can do continuous integration by Jenkins. We can do continuous delivery, also the continuous deployment. And one very special thing about the Jenkins is that it has 1000 plus plugins. Now, the what is the plugins? Basically, I'll show you. Jenkins plugins. Okay. So let's see what is the Jenkins plugins. Okay, discover the 1900 plus plugins. So you can see we have a lot of plugins here. And one second, I am also managing plugins. Jenkins plugin list. Okay, देखते हैं if we can get the answers. Okay, let's see if we have the plugins here. Okay, I don't want to search it out. Okay, let's. Here we have a generated answer. So you can see here we have the Docker here. If you hear about the Docker, we have Git, we have Jira, we have Blue Ocean. And so basically plugins means a lot of any like we can integrate our CI/CD pipeline with other apps. If you want to add Slack onto your CI/CD pipeline, then you can integrate. If you want to add the GCP, AWS, Azure, you can add it. So, and also Git, Jira, everything. We have the integration for a lot of apps, right? So that is the plugins. Now let's go back here. Okay. It has 1000. So we just checked that 1900 plus plugins. So it is getting increased day by day. So it's very good to use the Jenkins and triggering build. So in Jenkins, we also have the triggering build. So triggering build means, so you just need to click on one button and it will trigger the whole CI/CD pipeline and attach any Linux, Windows, Mac. So it is compatible with all of these OS. So yeah, that is about the Jenkins. And if you wanted to know more about it, I'll show you later how it look like. Now let's see CI/CD pipeline built by Mona. So basically, in my job, I have created lot of CI/CD pipeline. So I'm going to share you what the CI/CD pipeline looks like. So before jumping into this, let's see if you guys have any questions. Please write it down on the chat section. Okay. Can you tell just a summary of CI/CD? Okay. Uh, okay. So basically, if I give you the summary of CI/CD pipeline, so it just a process that helps to automate a build process or our deployment process in a very simple term. So we just discussed what is CI/CD pipeline and what is the flow of the CI/CD pipeline. So basically, in just one word, if I say what is CI/CD pipeline and how it helps, so it basically automate your whole process. In just one click, you can, deploy your code onto the cloud. So that is the CI/CD pipeline in very simple terms. And yeah, okay. Do you have any questions, guys, till now? If yes, then you can type it out, or if not, or if you are confused uh, with any of the slide, or if you have any confusion, you can just say it out. Okay, in second slide, I'm not able to understand this term, so you can just tell me. And also, I just forget. Are you guys comfortable in Hindi or English? Should I continue with English or should I use Hindi? You can type it out. Okay, okay. Hindi, no, Didi, comfortable in English, English, okay, okay. Okay, so we will continue with little bit Hindi and little bit English. Okay, I think that would be great. And yeah, we'll try the most important thing, we will try to make it more interactive, right? So if you don't have any question, just give me thumbs up to go ahead. Okay, okay, great. So I'm continuing with my CI/CD journey, so let's do it again. Okay, let's check how this CI/CD pipeline look like. So basically here you can see uh, this is the CI/CD. So basically what is happening here? What is the use case first? So the use case is, it is so first of all, this is a Jenkins file. This is just the code. This is just the like I think 30 lines of code you need to write it out to build your or to do the whole process. So let's check the use case here. So just read with me. Jenkins file to build and push Docker image to artifact registry using Jenkins pipeline for a GitHub repo. So basically what is happening here, मेरे पास एक code है, I have a code, I need to build the Docker image of my code, and after building the Docker image I need to push into artifact registry. Now two things comes here. I'm imagining you maybe you must be aware of the Docker or the artifact registry, but I'll give you one simple example what is Docker image and what is artifact registry. So Docker image is just, you can imagine कि Docker image आपके कोड को एक पैकेज में कन्वर्ट कर देता है, right? And artifact registry, we have artifact registry in the G Cloud. So basically it is same like the GitHub repo, but artifact registry is exist in the cloud, right? In the GCP cloud. So that is a simple use case that we need to build the Docker image of my code and then deploy it into the artifact registry. So that is a simple thing. Now let's check the code here. So see, we just write down the pipeline, and here we have all of the thing we need for our CI/CD pipeline. So here we just mention the project ID. Here we add the image name. What is the image name of my code? So when I talked about na Docker image, so we are giving a name of this Docker image. So you can give it any name, and then we are giving the registry URL. So अब हमें artifact registry में अपना code deploy करना है, तो address भी तो देना पड़ेगा ना, किस registry में deploy करना है. Like हमारे पास GitHub का एक address होता है हर repo का, right? Like वैसे ही artifact registry का भी हमें address देना पड़ेगा. So what we did here, we just add your registry URL. You just need to add your registry URL here, and you just add the tag like latest version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4. Okay, so that's how you give a tag. And so in CI/CD pipeline we have stages. So in stages we mention all of the thing. So in first stage what we are doing, we are check out our code from the GitHub repo. यहाँ हम क्या कर रहे हैं? We are checking out, like basically we can say we are pulling up the code from the GitHub here, right? So that is happening here. After pulling the code from the GitHub, what is happening? In stage second, what is happening? Build. So here we just mention the every action. Here we are doing the checkout, and on second stage we are doing build and push image. So what is happening here? We just add the, in the seventh line, we just add the credentials, your GitHub cred ID, your GitHub token. So हम लोग सेम चीज कर रहे हैं. Whenever we log in onto GitHub, what we need? GitHub like access token. So we just provide the access token for the GitHub and your GitHub creds ID. So this is, and what is happening here? In SH, here we just mention the commands. So what is the command? So the first command is set the GCR credentials. So these are the Google command. So if you are not able to understand it, so you are eventually going to understand in the future what is we are doing here. So for now what you need to understand, we are just adding the credential for the Google Cloud registry, right? Artifact registry. and gcloud auth we are configuring docker. And here what we are doing in the second command, build and tag the docker image. Here we are building our docker image. So to build the docker image we need to run this command. After building the docker image, the second step or the third step is we need to push our docker image to the artifact registry. Again, what is artifact registry? Artifact registry is present in the GCP. So it is just like the GitHub repo. So we need to push our Docker image to the artifact registry. So here we are pushing our Docker image. So this is the command to push our Docker image to the artifact registry. Docker push registry URL, image name, and the tag. So you just need to write this code to run the whole use case here. Okay, so that is the whole use case and the um, code to build the CI/CD pipeline to build and publish your Docker image to the artifact registry. Now, before showing you one another example here, so that previous example, that one is for the Google Cloud, and the next one I am going to share is going to be for the AWS, Amazon Web Services. So before jumping into the Amazon Web Services, yeah,
Okay, so we have two questions in the
okay,
comment section.
okay, I'm checking it out. Okay, CI/CD can only used by companies. No, it is not. Uh, if you want to use a CI/CD pipeline for yourself, then of course you can do it. And I'll prefer that you will try Jenkins, because why I told you previously that for personal project, or if I am going to work on some project, then I'll prefer GitHub Actions. The simple reason is that GitHub Actions is very easy to implement, right? But companies, if you really want to learn the skills, then go for the Jenkins, right? Like how to run the Jenkins, how to install it, how to build the CI/CD pipeline in the Jenkins. So you can, use the Jenkins for your to building the CI/CD pipeline, of course. So yeah, one second. Okay, I think that question is. I think we are done with the CI/CD can only used by companies. So of course you can use the CI/CD. Sorry, Jenkins. CI/CD can only be used by companies. Sorry, I just confused by a question. So you can also use the CI/CD pipeline, or you can also build the CI/CD pipeline for your project. Okay, the second question is, why do we use AWS? Okay, so why do we use AWS? So basically, okay, so you have a project, right? So in that project, like आप imagine करिए कि आप एक company में काम कर रहे हैं, right? So that your company's requirement is कि okay, we need to deploy our app onto the AWS, right? And why we are using AWS? Because we eventually need our cloud to deploy our app onto any cloud. Maybe it will be AWS, GCP, or the Azure. Because we, when our app is on the cloud, that is accessible for all of, right? So that is the reason we use the cloud, and it is depends on your company's requirement if they want to go for the AWS or GCP or the Azure. I hope you are good with this answer, Abhigyan, Prakash. Okay, the next question, if not, then you can just raise your hand, or if you have any doubt, just let me know. The third question is, what are technology used to apply CI/CD pipeline other than Jenkins? So we have a lot of technologies I previously show in my PPT. We have GitHub Actions, And also we have, one second, we have uh, circle ci also. See, these are the thing we have: Azure DevOps, Circle CI, Bitbucket pipelines. There's a lot of tools we can use to build a CI/CD pipeline, but the most popular ones are GitHub Actions and Jenkins. Also, I think the Netflix are using Spinnaker. Spinnaker, they are using. I'm forgetting the name, but it is very similar to that name, Spinnaker. So yeah, it depends on your company's requirement, what tools they wanted to use. So here you can, check it out, the tools for to build the CI/CD pipeline. Okay, the next question is, where do we find the artifact registry? Are they provided by GCP? Yes. So what happened in GCP or any cloud? We have lot of services. Okay, like we have artifact registry. Here you can, uh, here you can store your code. It is just like the repo, right? And also we have the EC2, like in in GCP we have VMs, virtual machines. Here you can, deploy your code. So we have lot of services जो कि हमें Google provide कराता है. So yeah, Google is providing these services. So you need to, use that. So जब भी आप GCP use करेंगे ना, then you need to, search it out. Okay, artifact registry, it will show you the artifact registry. And also it will show you the tutorial how you can use the artifact registry with your project. So it is very pretty simple. It is not just any difficult thing to, implement. Didi, can't we host our app on VPS, virtual private network? To I heard. Can you elaborate what is VPS? Can you please type it out? What is VPS? Pranjal, virtual private server. It gives us it gives us more control in our virtual private server over our app, and it's working, okay, or even a dedicated machine. Okay, I think VPC. One second. VPC in AWS, Amazon Virtual Private Cloud. Okay, yeah, so basically, virtual private server or virtual private cloud. So basically, what happened? Uh, so the concept is different, not different. The VPC is the functionality to add onto your EC2 services, right? So क्या करते हैं? VPC is just a network. It's a virtual private network होता है. So क्या होता है कि when we used to, deploy our app onto the EC2, then we can add this functionality, virtual private server or virtual private cloud, onto our EC2. So we can add this thing. So of course you can host your app onto any virtual private cloud or the server. So it's kind of security thing. So you can use this feature into your any, like on VMs or EC2 or anything. Okay, I think we are good with this. And if you have any doubts, then we can, talk about this section later.
Okay, so we have one more question from
Mhm.
Ankit Sengupta. Is Jenkins file same as Docker file?
Is Jenkins same as Docker file? No, it's not. So I'll show you. So I'll previously show you how our Jenkins file look like. So this is our Jenkins file, and let's see Docker file example. Let's see the images. So Docker file look like this. So this is the Docker file. So what we are doing here from base image. Arre baap re. Ek second. Okay, let's check this only. Yeah, I think this is the good example. So what is happening here? This is the Docker file. So from this, one second, this is not a good example. Okay, I think this is. So what is happening from Alpaline? These are our labels, and then we are running our code here, removing some. Here we are updating, we are adding some thing, and we are removing some file. Then we are jumping into the root directory. This is our endpoint. Then here we are running some help command. So this is our Docker file, and the Jenkins file is look like this. Like we have the pipeline. We need to mention the pipeline. Then we have the environment. Then we have the stages. So that's how it works. So it's not the same. The format is different, of course. Okay, I think we are good to go. Any questions, guys? Just raise your hands or type it out here. If not, let's go back. Okay, we will wrap up this in more 15 minutes. Okay, what's happening here? So a second use case is Jenkins file to build and publish Docker image to AWS ECI and deploy ECS using Jenkins pipeline for a GitHub repo. So what we are doing here, we are building our Docker image, and then we are pushing into the ECR, and then we are deploying onto the ECS, any Elastic Container Service. Yeah, using Jenkins. So this is our code. So the code is kind of similar. Here we have pipeline. Here we have mentioned all of the environments, so you can check. We have access key, secret key. We have registry here. We have repo name, and then we have the stages. We have checkout stage. Then we are building our Docker image here. Then we are logging into the ECR. So in login, we just mention the login password, Docker image, username, and access key ID, everything. And when when the login is done, then we'll jump into the next step. So the next step is pushing uh, ECR code onto the. Okay, here we are pushing our code onto the ECR. So it is pushing our image to the container registry. And then third step is not mentioned here. So to deploy your app onto ECS, we also have similar kind of command. So this is about the AWS use case. So that is how you are going to, build your CI/CD pipeline. So I think you are well aware about this. Okay, let's check it out. What's the problem I faced while I was, building the CI/CD pipeline? So when you build the CI/CD pipeline, so most of the time we faced a lot of issue with integration with external services. Now, what it means? So whenever you integrate any database or any third APIs or any cloud services, you will see in at initial you will face a lot of problem like how to integrate this thing, but eventually you will learn it out. So I faced the integration issues, and then also I faced the versioning and dependencies management. So basically क्या होता था कि I have 5 services to integrate in my CI/CD pipeline, but the version is not uh, the versioning is not matching with one another. So that is the dependencies issue I faced with my CI/CD pipeline. So you need to, aware about ki, okay, which version we need to use for specific integration or not. So version का हमेशा ध्यान रखना, what version you are using. Maybe older नहीं होना चाहिए, काफी new भी नहीं होना चाहिए. I always choose the working version for your CI/CD pipeline. And then I also face a lot of problem with the environment consistency. So what happens, my CI/CD pipeline was working on deployment, but it fails on testing environment, and also it fails on production environment. So be sure your CI/CD pipeline should work on the development phase. Also, it should work on the testing. Also, it should work on the production environment. So you just need to be very well aware. Okay, uh, it because it usually doesn't happen that your code is working on the deployment. It should be work on production, right? So you need to first test it out. Okay, your should work on all three environments. So yeah, this is okay. These are some of the practices we need to, follow while building a pipeline. So always choose version source like GitHub, and always try to, automate your build. Like you can, use the continuous deployment. It is good to use that process. And also deploy try to deploy onto a lot of instances. Now what is instances? Basically deploy your app onto different clouds or different VMs or different EC2s. Like your app should be deployed on a lot of computers in simple terms. And you should have used any sort of dashboard where you have all the information, like your CI/CD pipeline is working or not, if it's failing, why this is failing. So you can get the insight from any dashboard. So and also just apply the unit test. Yeah, these are some of the best practices. So yeah, that is the wrap of this session. So before wrapping it, let's see if we have some questions from the audience. So let me know if you have any questions regarding CI/CD or anything. Okay, what is ECR? Okay, so basically ECR is Elastic Container Registry. So basically, it is like a GitHub repo, but in the cloud, right? So अब ये तो नहीं होना चाहिए ना कि अगर आप EC2 में अगर आपको अपना ऐप डिप्लॉय करना है तो बार बार आप GitHub से पुल कर रहे हो. It should be on the cloud, right? First. So we store our code onto the ECR first, and then from the ECR we pull our code from the ECR, then we deploy onto the EC2 or any virtual machine. So it comes under AWS. So ECR is a service, AWS service. Okay. Any questions, guys? Other than that, it should be
Yeah,
out
you
of
can
the.
raise your hand as well.
Yeah, yeah. You can raise your hand. Now you can talk about anything. You can unmute yourself, or if you have something to say, you can, just tell me, because we have just 5 minutes, then we will, wrap it up. Any questions? Stupid questions be allowed है यहाँ पर, so you can ask me anything. It should be anything. Okay.
Everybody, you can utilize your comment section if you have any questions.
But we have lot of questions before, right? I think we are good to go. If you don't
Yeah.
have any questions, so you can, give me some celebration stickers. Okay, I have a small project. Okay. Harsh is saying something. Rajiv is clapping. Okay, okay. Harsh, do you have something to say? You just said I have a small project. How can I use CI/CD there? Okay, so Harsh, आपको क्या करना है? First, you need to see. Uh, First thing you are going to search on Google is that how to install the Jenkins. When you are done with the Jenkins and when you will be able to run Jenkins on to your browser, तो क्या होगा, Jenkins आपके ब्राउजर पे ओपन होगा. तो जब भी आप Jenkins को रन करोगे, that should be open on the browser. So जो भी आप कोड लिखने वाले हो ना, so वो ब्राउजर पे होने वाला है चीजें. जैसे क्या होता है, फ्लास्क यूज करते हैं ना हम लोग, तो और मे बी HTML वाला, अगर हम और भी सिंपल वे में लेके जाते हैं, HTML वाली फाइल यूज करते हैं, तो ब्राउजर में ओपन होता है. वैसे ही आप जेंकिंस में क्या होगा कि एक आप कमांड रन करेंगे, फिर वो एक ब्राउजर ओपन करेगा, वहां पर आपको पूरा इंटरफेस मिल जाएगा. वहां पे सब कुछ होगा. ओके, क्रिएट योर CI/CD पाइपलाइन, और वहां पे आप ये सब कोड वगैरह लिख सकते हैं. तो देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ ट्यूटोरियल्स. if you face some problem, then you can directly contact with me. This is my social, मतलब जो भी ये QR code, here you can find my all social media handlers, so you can just take a screenshot. So yes. Okay, how can I? Okay, I think that is good. Okay. Are you guys have any questions other than that? If not, then we can wrap it up with some emojis. Okay, your QR is not visible. One second, I'm sharing again. So guys, please take a screenshot. This is the QR. So I'm just count for 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, hope you have taken the screenshot. Okay. Okay, that's great. Okay, let's close it up with some emojis. If you are all good, if you don't have any question, you can just give me a thumbs up or heart or just clap or something like that.
Uh, Ma'am, there is a succeeding quiz, so can you please stay for a minute?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
seeing. But if you have some questions, you can just, let me know. Sumit Prashad, you just raise your hand. Do you have some questions? Acha. Good to hear. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't think so. We have any questions. Agnisha, do you have any questions? No?
I think we don't have any question now. So we can start with the quiz.
Yeah, sure. Which quiz? Sorry.
Actually, we are having a succeeding quiz now. So
Okay.
it would be great if you can stay for a few
Yeah, yeah,
minutes.
yeah, sure. I thought I need to present some quiz, and I was like, yo, oh God.
No, no, no.
Okay, yeah, you
No, no,
can
we
go
are
ahead.
presenting the quiz. It would be great if you can stay for a few minutes.
Yeah, of course, I'm staying here. Yeah. Just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Participants, you can now join the quiz. The Slido link has been given in the chat box, so you can join using that link.
Also, I just wanted to announce something if I can, Agnisha. Hello.
Yeah, you can go forward.
Yeah, yeah. The announcement is related to community meetup. So as I told you, like I am the organizer of CNCF Gurgaon. So basically, CNCF is a cloud native community. It's an international community, and so we have a event, in-person event, uh, for like related to the cloud at on 24th of Feb. So you guys can come or you can just register for the event. So it is going to happen in Gurgaon. So in Gurgaon, EPAM system, if you hear about this company name, so it's near to the Ambience Mall. I think you need to take a metro from your home to Hooda City Center, I think so. So I'll share you the link so you can just, register for that if you want to join. So I must, one second. I'll encourage you to join that event if you wanted to, learn about the cloud technology or Kubernetes and all. So here is the link for that event. So you can check it out later. And also we have started the quiz, so you can participate in it.
I hope I can start the quiz now because I hope no more participants will join the quiz.
Yeah, you can start the quiz.
Ma'am, can you please explain why it is not to automate the deployment process? Can you please explain the question? Because maximum people has done it wrong. Ma'am, you are not audible.
Sorry. So the question is, what is the primary goal of continuous integration? So we are here. The question is talking about the continuous integration. So the answer is to detect integration error early and often, and you guys choose to automate the deployment process. So to automate the deployment process is the whole process, like continuous integration and continuous deployment. Yeah, but to detect integration errors early and often, to automate this is also can be right, but to automate the deployment process, but maybe what will happen in continuous integration, we can early detect, okay, our code is onto the GitHub or by pretest. So I'll show you now here. Here we have in the diagram what we are doing the pre-test. So by pre-test, what does it mean? It means like we are testing our code is good or not. So we can detect the early errors here. So the whole process is called the automation thing, but here we are, just detecting, okay, our code is working fine or not, if there is some error or not. So the answer, अगर हम काफी specific देखते हैं, so is to detect integration errors early and often. So yeah. Yep.
Thank you, ma'am. So we are moving on to the next question.
Yeah, so I'll just we didn't talk about the feedback loop plays, but you can guess from the question feedback loop play. So basically, feedback loop play means by using feedback loop play, you can get insight into your application. So it couldn't be automatic code review or anything. So by feedback loop play, you should be able to get some insight of your application. So it should be that.
Thank you, ma'am. So I'm moving to the next question. Ma'am, can you please explain this question?
Yeah. Of course. So, what is the purpose of Jenkins file syntax, right? So, it's talking about the syntax, Jenkins file syntax. So, if we talk about first option to define the permission of accessing Jenkins job, no, we are not doing any permission thing here, right? It's talking about the whole Jenkins file, right? And to configure Jenkins server setting, no. Why we are doing server Jenkins server setting on Jenkins file? Because that is the first step. So it could be wrong, like it is wrong. And the third thing is to define the user interface. So by CI/CD pipeline, we are not, we are not talking about the user interface or something like that, or we are not creating any interface by Jenkins file, right? So the fourth one is to specify the build steps and the condition for accessing Jenkins job. So as I show you on my PPT, so basically what we were doing there, we were, building the steps like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and we are, adding the job. So it is easy, like what is Jenkins file syntax to specify the build step and conditions for accessing Jenkins job. Okay, I think it's makes sense.
Thank you, ma'am. So moving on to the next question.
We have a lot of questions, huh?
Ma'am, this was the last question, so our quiz ends here.
Okay, okay, that's nice.
So we will now present our leaderboard.
Sorry. Okay, okay. Pre-
So the top of the list is Prerna Kaur with 7 out of 10. Then we have Shubha Bhattacharya, 6 out of 10. And Harsh with 6 out